What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the compassionately cold-hearted Dr. Disaster, and the drama surrounding Subnautica 2 just continues to get more interesting every day. The now ousted founders of Unknown Worlds are sparring with the people at Krafton like angry badgers fighting over turf, and I'm over here just smirking and going, "Are we having fun or what?" Now, to be clear, I don't have a dog in this fight at all. As far as I'm concerned, Krafton is the sort of soulless corporate entity that is no good for video games. They are the sort who would gladly sell their grandma's house and make her homeless for a quick buck. But on the other side of the fight, the guys who founded Unknown Worlds and developed the Subnautica games are well known to have buckled under social pressure to the woke mob, firing developers in the past who liked tweets from people like Paul Joseph Watson who don't agree with the woke politics. Therefore, I can look at both warring parties and say,
good riddance to bad rubbish.
But we do have some news in this drama that has just come out. As we've talked about, Subnautica 2 has been delayed. The early access was going to start at some point this year, but now it's been pushed back, and both sides are blaming each other. And now the news is that someone has leaked images from an internal review of Subnautica 2 talking about how all this happened. What's more, Krafton actually just came out and confirmed that these leaked documents are true. Both sides are pointing at these leaked documents and trying to use them to win in the court of public opinion, but at the end of the day, I am a schadenfreude enthusiast who is just plain giddy at all of the chaos. These two sides are getting in each other's faces, and I love it.
Are you suggesting fisticuffs? As in with our fists and feet? I'm a kicker.
I'm the guy in the corner yelling out this shit here.
Kick his ass, Seabass!
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I've begun uploading some content onto Rumble as well, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster on that site too. Also, give me a follow over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But let's take a look at what we can learn from these leaked documents that have come out of this Subnautica situation. Now, as you can see here, there is a lot of information to parse through with these documents. But fortunately, I have someone here who has already gone through a bunch of the info for us, so we're going to look at what friend of the channel, Master of the TDS, had to say about the documents over on X. He wrote here, potential leak from inside Unknown Worlds and Krafton. According to the internal slides shown below, the scope of Subnautica 2 was not just reduced, it was restructured multiple times during development. The documents outline several major changes. Major systems like biomods and ecosystem restoration were removed. Narrative content was cut from 2 chapters, 13 to 16 hours, down to 1 chapter, 8 to 10 hours. So this kind of makes it sound like maybe the developers themselves were the ones changing things up, limiting the scope of the content in the game in order to make sure that Subnautica 2 would be finished and released this year so that they could get their $250 million bonus for hitting their sales targets. As a quick recap, if you aren't familiar or don't remember what the fight is between these two parties, when Krafton bought out Unknown Worlds a few years ago, they paid $500 million to acquire it, but a part of the agreement allowed for an additional $250 million that would get paid out if the studio hit certain sales targets by the end of 2025. In other words, the people at Unknown Worlds had 250 million reasons for wanting Subnautica 2 to release in 2025, and Krafton would obviously not want the game to be released too early. So, getting back to this post on X, if the game was being shrunk down in scope, that makes it sound like something the developers would do in order to ensure that they could release the game early and hit their sales targets. But before we pronounce them guilty, let's read the next part. Master of the TDS wrote, "Features that were removed were then replaced with entirely new systems like farming, automation, and online integration. Some are claiming the developers failed to deliver, but the data tells a different story. When the scope shifts this often, consistent delivery becomes nearly impossible." So this makes it sound like Krafton was jerking the developers around in a transparent attempt to prolong development of the game and push it back to next year. And then another friend of the channel, J Viper, replied to Master the TDS, and I found their discussion on the topic to be thought-provoking. We're gonna read it. Jay said, "I wonder if the leads kept reducing it to meet that $250 million deadline," and Master of the TDS wrote back, "I get that's what it looks like, but if you look at it closer, they were not just cutting down things, they were changing things mid-development. Given how the devs handled the first game, I don't see them being the ones to do that. This looks like Krafton." And Jay replied, "So Krafton was reducing scope? Seems odd, unless they were planning to use it for DLC or something. They are mobile-based, so slimy tactics aren't off the table." And TDS then replied, "No, they were adding things. It looks like they were reducing scope, but also adding things and scrapping others while adjusting the scope. Almost like they didn't know what they wanted the game to be." Jay then said, "Interesting, this looks like 2 slides of a full meeting, wonder what else there is," and TDS said back, "That's unfortunately all we got. I'm inclined to be on the side of the devs because I played both Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero in early access, and I saw just how much they care about the game and the team, but we will have to wait and see." And yeah, about the only bit of information that we know for sure is that, as I mentioned before, Krafton has come out and officially announced that these leaks are authentic. It's rare that a company does that. Usually, leaked documents are just plain ignored by big companies like this. There has to be a reason that they admitted these were real. Makes me wonder if they think this proves their case, that the developers were being lazy or greedy or whatever, trying to shrink the game in order to make sure it can get released this year. But one thing sounds certain to me: both sides sound guilty of putting money ahead of the product. At this point, I wonder if anyone actually cares about the quality of Subnautica 2. It sounds like a game that ought to be avoided at this point by gamers almost at all costs, at least until we find out whether or not it's actually any good. But either way, I'm going to leave it there. Which side do you generally believe in this conflict? Or are you like me, just over here eating popcorn and enjoying as these two sides rip each other apart? Drop your thoughts into the comment section below and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.